Some cars struggle to make it past 150,000 miles. Others have gone so far they completely changed what people thought was possible. Every brand on this list has real proof behind it, and by the end, the number one brand may completely change which cars deserve a place in the garage. Starting with number 5, Lexus. Most luxury cars are not the first thing people think of when the conversation turns to 1 million miles. Lexus is one of the few exceptions. While verified million-mile Lexus vehicles are rare, the reason has more to do with how few are driven that far than with a lack of durability. Many Lexus models use the same engines and transmissions found in legendary Toyota vehicles that have already proven they can reach 1 million miles. That gives Lexus a huge advantage before the engine is even started. The LS400 is a perfect example. Even after hundreds of thousands of miles, many owners still describe it as quiet, smooth, and dependable. The GX470 and LX470 have built the same reputation, with countless high-mileage examples still on the road today. It is not unusual to find these vehicles with 300,000, 400,000, or even well over 500,000 miles when they have been serviced on time. That does not automatically mean every Lexus will reach 1 million miles. Very few vehicles from any brand ever do. But Lexus is one of the rare luxury brands that has the engineering to make that kind of distance realistic with exceptional maintenance, and its close connection to Toyota's proven million-mile mechanical parts is a big reason why. By the end of this list, the number one brand has multiple vehicles that have actually crossed the 1 million mile mark, making the competition even harder to ignore. Number 4, Mercedes-Benz. 1 million miles might sound impossible for most luxury cars, but Mercedes-Benz has been proving people wrong for decades. Long before modern reliability rankings became popular, certain Mercedes models were already building a reputation for covering unbelievable distances without needing a new engine. The biggest reason is the brand's older diesel engines. They were not built to win races or impress with huge horsepower numbers. They were built to run day after day, year after year, with one goal: keep moving. That is why these cars became the first choice for taxi drivers in many countries, where driving hundreds of thousands of miles was simply part of the job. Models like the W123 and W124 became legends because owners kept driving them long after most cars from the same era had disappeared. Some documented examples have crossed 1 million miles, while countless others have reached several 100,000 miles and were still running strong. Of course, not every Mercedes deserves that reputation. Many newer models are far more complex and can be much more expensive to repair as they age. The million-mile stories mostly belong to the simpler, older cars that earned Mercedes its reputation for lasting almost forever. That is what makes Mercedes-Benz a worthy place on this list. When people talk about cars that have actually reached 1 million miles, this is one of the few brands with real-world proof instead of just a reputation. Number 3, Honda. Ask someone which brand has the best chance of reaching 1 million miles, and Honda is almost always part of the conversation. That reputation was not built through advertising. It came from owners who kept driving their cars year after year, while many others were already being replaced. One of the best-known examples is a Honda Accord that passed 1 million miles on its original engine and transmission. That kind of mileage is incredibly rare, but it shows what can happen when a well-built car is matched with consistent maintenance. The reason Honda earns a place this high is its approach to engineering. Many of its engines are known for running smoothly, using simple and proven designs instead of adding unnecessary complexity. When oil changes, cooling system maintenance, and timing belt or chain service are done on time, these engines have a reputation for lasting far longer than most people expect. That is why it is common to find older Accords, Civics, and CR-Vs still being driven every day with 300,000 or even 400,000 miles on the clock. For most cars, that would already be the end of the story. For Honda, it is often just another milestone. Reaching 1 million miles is never guaranteed, no matter what badge is on the hood. But Honda has already shown that it is possible, and that is exactly why it belongs near the top of this list. Number 2. Volvo. Some cars become famous because they are fast, others because they are beautiful. Volvo earned its reputation for a completely different reason. It built cars that owners simply could not wear out. That reputation became impossible to ignore when one Volvo did something almost no passenger car has ever achieved. The car was a Volvo P1800 owned by Irv Gordon. What started as an ordinary daily driver eventually passed 1 million miles, then kept going far beyond that. By the end of its life, it had covered more than 3.2 million miles, making it one of the highest mileage passenger cars ever documented. That single car proved that reaching 1 million miles was not just a dream. It could actually happen. Of course, no car reaches that kind of mileage by accident. It takes years of regular maintenance, careful driving, and fixing small problems before they become big ones. But even with perfect care, a weak car usually gives up long before then. The fact that this Volvo kept going says a lot about how it was engineered. That reputation was not built by one owner alone. Older Volvo models like the 240, 740, and 940 became known for lasting hundreds of thousands of miles while still being used for daily driving. Even today, it is not unusual to find well-maintained examples with mileage that would send many other cars to the scrapyard. The biggest lesson from Volvo is that 1 million miles is not about luck. It starts with a car that is built to last from day one. When that foundation is combined with years of proper maintenance, the results can be extraordinary. Few brands have a real-world story as powerful as Volvo, which is exactly why it earns the number 2 spot. Now finally, the number 1, Toyota. No other brand has more real-world proof of reaching 1 million miles than Toyota. That is exactly why it takes the number 1 spot. But the surprising part is that it was not just one car. It has happened again and again with different Toyota models driven by completely different owners. One of the most famous examples is a Toyota Tundra that passed 1 million miles on its original engine. Toyota was so interested in how it survived that they bought the truck back, took it apart piece by piece, and found that many of the major engine components showed remarkably little wear after all those miles. That is not the only story. Other Toyota models, including the Land Cruiser, Tacoma, Hilux, and even some older sedans, have built incredible high-mileage reputations all over the world. Many have crossed 500,000 miles, and a growing number have reached the milestone that most drivers never thought was possible. So what makes Toyota different? The answer is not one secret part. Toyota has spent decades building engines and transmissions that avoid unnecessary complexity and focus on lasting as long as possible. When routine maintenance is done on time, those simple decisions can add up over hundreds of thousands of miles. That does not mean every Toyota will reach 1 million miles. Neglect can destroy even the most reliable vehicle. But if one brand has repeatedly shown that the goal is realistic instead of just wishful thinking, it is Toyota. The biggest lesson from every brand on this list is simple. 1 million miles is never guaranteed by a badge alone. It comes from choosing a well-built vehicle and taking care of it year after year. Give the right car that kind of attention, and the mileage that seems impossible today might not stay impossible.